Sponsored by HelloFresh. The holidays are coming, and let's be honest, finding time to meal prep and have meals with long cooking time only adds to the stress. That's where HelloFresh comes in. HelloFresh lets you easily customize your delivery from week to week. Mix and match lifestyle options to suit your needs like fit and wholesome, family-friendly, quick and easy, vegetarian, and more. Everything can be tailored to your schedule by adjusting your delivery date and even skipping a week when you're not able to cook at home. That way, if you're traveling through the holidays, you don't have to worry about which week you get food delivered and which you don't. Go to HelloFresh.com, use my code ROCKEDNOV10 and receive 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. Your support helps the channel and podcast to keep going. Click my link or use my code to subscribe to HelloFresh to get your eating goals on track and contribute to Rocked. Remember a few months ago when the return of Linkin Park was hyped up without countdown clock, then an unspecified count up clock, or however you want to define it, leading to a live stream concert for Linkin Park's underground members with a new singer, a new song, The Emptiness Machine, followed with that announcement of a new album and a new world tour? That excitement lasted not as long as people would have hoped. In less than 24 hours, the internet took charge with that Scientology accusations of Emily Armstrong in her past life. Keep in mind that it is part of the past and there was no apparent interactions with Scientology. Thank God. But Linkin Park really put in the work to make the comeback a spectacle while ignoring any of the complaints, criticisms, controversy, or questions. As the months have gone on leading to From Zero's release, the more it looks like this was the plan all along for Mike Shinoda and company. Make the announcement, perform, tour, release, and ignore the public confusion. I made a video the week of all that Linkin Park speculation and concerns and when they came out about Linkin Park beats Scientology, and you can find that in the video description. I want to continue on that discussion and discuss where Linkin Park goes from here, because now, with all dust being kicked up and a new Linkin Park album in the world, we have much more to break apart and inspect. For those of you wondering what my thoughts are on the new album from Xero, here's the album review I did for it. Linkin Park, From Xero. The return of one of the world's biggest bands with a new singer and an album that everyone will have a strong opinion over. From Xero ranges from original old-school sounding tracks like Heavy as the Crown to completely different sounding material from past Linkin Park songs like Over Each Other. It's when you get to the deep cuts that you notice a few things. The instrumentals, while solid, are never as catchy or striking as I'd wish. Lyrically, the content is based around Linkin Park as an entity, and the band struggles, which is a unique take for the group, but hard to connect with. Tracks like Two-Faced and Casualty are lyrically disjointed and is the early 2000s angst done almost as a cliche, while The Emptiness Machine and Closer Good Things Go have some real depth. From Xero works as a Linkin Park album with some high points, but mostly just songs that exist to continue the band's legacy with a new chapter by defining themselves and expressing how hard it is to be Linkin Park. This new version of Linkin Park is not spectacular, but it's also not bad, and a group could do worse than starting from zero. 6 out of 10. Now that the overall perspective is given, I want to look at what Linkin Park will do next that we know of. That includes at least 2 festivals with headlining performance slots in the United States with Sick New World in Las Vegas and DWP Sonic Temple in Columbus, Ohio. Both are big shows, especially for a band with a unique comeback like Linkin Park has had. From Xero is an album more focused on Linkin Park as an entity and the group's struggles over the years, and that is a unique form for the group when looking at past albums. This feels as a big statement of what the band has dealt with and are currently dealing with as a collective. Some of the new material has much more of a presence with Emily Armstrong. There is no more Rob Bourdon, which has been a footnote in the return of Linkin Park, and with the numerous accusations thrown at by other musicians and family members of Chester Bennington, one thing feels certain: Linkin Park is going to completely ignore all the talk and keep pushing forward. Whether you agree with that tactic or not, it's what is going to happen. What my question now is addresses the uncertainty of what Linkin Park does next. There is no way that the new iteration of Linkin Park is going to be a one and done. Way too much effort, time, and money was invested to have this just be a one-time band extension. I titled the video From Xero to Uncertainty because when the new album is out and Linkin Park does their big performances in 2025, what's next? More new music with Emily Armstrong? Probably. Will the concerns and many criticisms about how Linkin Park handled the accusations of the new lineup be forgotten? Well, this might shock a few of you to hear this, but probably. Let me break that down a bit. First, From Xero had plenty of moments and even a full track and more with Emily Armstrong only taking center stage. That means Shinoda, Mr. Hahn, etc. all have faith in this moving forward, and this is how they want Linkin Park to be presented.
And when she was singing on certain things, it sounded so much like the band. It just, for me, I was just like, that feels good. Like, I don't know I can't be logical about it.
Second, through all the time they took to record from Xero after the long tryout and hiring process and keeping everything secret, there is no way Linkin Park did not know this backlash was not coming. So if the band was already come this far and is still selling out arenas while charting with every single in the course of 3 months, then why would they want to stop there? So that uncertainty I talk about, it's going to go in a wildly different direction than what Linkin Park was in the 2000s. It just will. And the last time Linkin Park tried that before was 2017. They tried a new album and a new style. It got roasted hard, and so getting backlash for whatever creative direction Linkin Park takes is not a new thing for the group, and they know how to ignore detractors and move on. 2025 will come, Linkin Park will continue to tour and have charting success, and the entire backlash and hype, revolt, whatever it is, all of that will become a thing of the past, which is so wild because all of this will happen without Chester Bennington, and the previous version of Linkin Park will be performed with someone in Chester's place. I'm not saying Emily Armstrong is a bad choice vocally, because all the live footage and the performances of her covering old hits prove she's put in the work to match the energy and tone of Chester as much as possible. The uncertainty comes next year and the following years, where Linkin Park will continue to tour and make more albums, and we will hear Linkin Park perform all the old material from Linkin Park for years while making new material that will push more of Hybrid Theory and Meteora to the side over time. I don't know how I feel about that. Uncertainty is the correct state I'm describing here because it's hard to have a definitive feeling about such a complicated situation with so many distracting past and current events still affecting the group. But really think about what I just said. A couple years from now, they're performing arena shows, and it's fewer songs from Hybrid Theory Meteora to make space for the new material that does not have Chester. Going back to Chester, regardless of how your feelings are about the current situation with Linkin Park, that should not affect your memories and attachments to previous albums with Chester. That's a different situation over time, and the current Linkin Park should not affect that. But we should remember that Mike Shinoda and company are going to do whatever they want and make a bajillion dollars doing it. Remember how many people were upset with One More Light and how it didn't sound like a Linkin Park album? The band did not care what people thought. It still made a lot of money. They will make whatever they want regardless of public opinion. This was a clip someone made of Linkin Park's performance in Paris this year. Big show, people were happy, and I think that should be recognized. There are many people happy with Linkin Park being back in any iteration. Even if the uncertainty is still around and the details around Emily Armstrong are still muddied, there are a massive number of fans still ready to support. The only way Linkin Park fans will stop dropping off more than they have after the relaunch week is if more information and accusations come toward Armstrong and any Scientology association, and many of those have already been brought up without really slowing the band down. I'm not sure what else could happen at this point. It's an odd feeling to support Linkin Park now, and the 2024 lineup does feel in several ways like a different group than 2017 Linkin Park, or 2003 Linkin Park. However you want to see it, the previous lineup versus the current one. One interesting take that I do feel has some insight from it was of Brent Smith of Shinedown, who posted a statement on Instagram. I remember the very first time I heard Emily Armstrong from Dead Sara sing The Weatherman. I said to myself, I believe rock and roll will be okay. And so today I will say Linkin Park will be more than okay. I know the internet is ablaze with comments and criticism, and also of praise from fans all over the world. Something to think about. Do you honestly believe that the members of this iconic band truly think that of all people, Chester is replaceable? The entire world knows he will never be replaceable because he was one of a kind. But with all that being said, there is an audience that missed this band, and their presence and what they represent. So I asked you, all of you, give them the opportunity to not close their chapter, allow them to celebrate their legacy, and also the opportunity to create a new one. I may dislike Scientology, and I did not love the brief statement regarding Armstrong's past actions, or at least one past event, but I also believe that she may be in a rough situation she's not allowed to address for her own safety. I also feel that Linkin Park should be allowed to continue making music if the majority of the band wants to keep going, and it's gonna go out there and not ignore the past. I may be uncertain where Linkin Park goes in 2025, and the future direction of music and sound and how I feel about the entire situation, but I'm certain Linkin Park is back, and as it stands now, the group is not going anywhere. If anything, they'll have a spotlight on what they do next for the foreseeable future. This video was meant to be a bit of a cathartic rant toward a group who at one time made one of my all-time favorite albums and is now being labeled as Xenu Park Online, which I admit I laughed at. Sometimes it helps to talk things out about all this stuff and put perspective on everything. Finally, here's a cat. This cat of mine stayed here the entire time while I was recording. Did not budge. He is a sleepy boy, but it's been a long week, so you know what? If he wants to nap, he can nap on the job. I'm going to try to be a cooler boss. Let my employees just do whatever they want so long as the work gets done.